Welcome to Questioning the Weird. Tonight's guest is Dave Olson with the Chicago Paranormal Investigators Organization.
Hey, everybody.
We're sitting in the back of an ambulance at the moment. Dave, would you like to talk about your ambulance really quick?
Yeah, we call her Misty. She's my command center. And to me, it's an important part of investigating because you really got to be cautious when you investigate a location, because the last thing you want to do is have too many people, from investigators and from clients. So they need somewhere to go. So that's the key with this command center. Whoever's not investigating sits in the command center, watches film, listens to audio. So this way you're not corrupting evidence.
So, Dave, how long have you been doing paranormal investigations?
Well, I started my team in 2009, but I started buying gear in 2008. And what got me into it was when I was a child, I had experiences, and I still had the experiences as I got older, even as an adult. So I would hear at times disembodied voices. And I'll give you an example. I remember one time as a kid, I'm laying down and I hear muffled conversations, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. So I went and got my mom. I was like, "Mom, come in my room. I hear these voices." And back then, you think, man, my son's crazy. He's probably thinking. But as I got older, I would still hear them. I would hear voices calling my name, and I started to be able to feel energy, what I believe to be spirit energy. And so in 2008, I started buying gear, and I was able to document some of the voices I heard, so I know I'm not going nuts. So I believe I was born a little bit on the sensitive side, and that's kind of what opened my eyes to all this.
So I guess the segue into gear, so like if somebody wants to do like a paranormal investigation on their own, like what's the kind of gear that's like the 101 stuff that you need to have?
Well, to me, the first two things would be digital voice recorder, and I'll give you a quick example here. I forgot to pull one out. They could be expensive, they could be cheap, it doesn't matter. I like the Zoom Handy 4, which is right here. I'll open it up. Okay. Or even like just a Sony digital voice recorder. And the most evidence you get, at least I do, is EVPs. So this is what you want for EVPs. Also, to me, a video recorder is very important. You definitely want to me, if I capture an EVP, I want to see, especially if I'm with other investigators, I want it recording me. I want to see what we're saying, what we're doing, if our voices are moving when we capture that EVP, because you can't just get a voice and saying it's automatically a spirit voice. So to me, it's very important to have both sides, the camera recording on what you're doing, so you're documenting if you're sitting down, not moving at all, and you're hearing unexplained noises like footsteps or voices. This way, you're able to record it via the video and audio. And then after that would be different types of EMF meters.
What does EMF stand for?
It's basically it's just spirit energy. That's what we're looking for. And you could also use these meters to see if anything in the house is causing high EMFs, like electrical. Sometimes if stuff's wired a certain way, can cause high EMFs in the house, which there's two theories on that. High EMFs could cause you to almost act like paranoid, feel things. You could be like very sensitive to high EMFs, which could cause you even to break out. It could just make you feel like you're being watched and stuff like that. So it's just not feeling right. So it's a good tool to have. We have all different type of meters. One of my favorites is the Mo meter, which is a multimeter. It gives you the EMF reading, digital reading, and you could also use this to communicate with spirits. It also gives you the temperature in case there's a temperature drop. But the theory with these meters, this antenna creates a magnetic field, and if you want to try to communicate with a spirit, you tell them to touch the antenna or break the field around it, and then alarms will go off, lights will go off, and you can try to communicate back and forth, so it answers your questions. There's different types. You got the millimeter, you got what is called a REM pod. Same thing. You got the antenna that creates a magnetic field. You got the lights. And you set it down and try to communicate with a spirit that way. Had good luck with both. And then you got other, these are more old-time meters, and they work great too. They're just not digital. And you could use these to detect stuff in the house also, from wiring, microwave and stuff like that, to see if that's causing, high EMFs in the house. Now what you want to do is, before investigating, you want to take a baseline reading of the house. You go with a meter, you go through every room, all the areas, and see if there's any hot spots, anything electrical, anything natural that's causing these spikes. Now later in now say if you're getting no readings at all, and you go investigate an hour or two later, and now you're getting unexplained spikes. Now that could be something.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah, definitely.
So EMF meters are a key, and there's several different type of, if you ever heard the term spirit box, ghost box. Mm-hmm. Now this is the SB11, which this is like two ghost or spirit boxes in one. So you could set it up where it's scanning, one scanning forward, one scanning backwards, and I have very good luck with this. It's a very good device. Along with, these are just different type of ghost boxes. This is it's probably been out a couple years. It's a newer type of ghost box. And then you got the old SB7, which is more the original type of spirit box. Hook it up to speakers, and very good luck with this too. Not that you need all this to ghost hunt, but I'm more of a techie gear type person. I'm sure there's a lot of times I just waste my money, but I like to see what works, what doesn't, and and spirits react to different things. So sometimes one day you'll have good luck with one device, the next investigation you'll have better luck with another type of device, to see what works.
So I guess to follow up with that, have you ever used like a old school Ouija board to try to do anything like that?
I'd never used a Ouija board, and I don't think I ever will. People say using devices like this kind of opens a doorway, very similar to maybe a Ouija board, but I think mentally as a child growing up, it's just drilled in my head, stay away from that.
Don't touch it. Yeah. So I guess the segue into that, so if somebody uses a Ouija board or something like that, or they're investigating something and they bring something back, do you know of a way to like help cleanse your house or stop anything?
This is like certain things I use, and I'll tell you the truth. And I didn't even believe it at first until it happened to me that this could even happen. But there's times after an investigation I brought stuff home. Thank God nothing bad, but never had a problem in my house. I come home and now I'm hearing footsteps, I'm getting tugs. It's probably something at the investigation that knew I saw it, maybe heard it, now wants to communicate. You got to think of it as, at one time it was someone's maybe mother, father, grandfather, child. It's not everything's like you see on TV or in the movies. So it probably just wants to communicate and say, hey, I want you to listen to me and, it's get my attention. So, yeah, I could show you some items we use. Let me reach behind you. And I'm not here to preach religion. Everyone has their own views and, but this is stuff I use and it seems to help. My team uses. Now, after every investigation, we'll say a protection prayer. If you're not religious, you don't have to say, any type of prayers, but we do. And we also sage, white sage. I also have Palo Santo holy wood. This is stuff you also use in your house. I have a shell. So a lot of times I'll go, I'll light this, go around in the house, or in the truck here after every investigation, we'll sage ourselves, the trucks, our vehicles, and all the equipment. So this way, nothing seems to bother us when we leave.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 5, 6 in the morning, and all I want to do is go home and sleep. Sometimes we'll have a 2, 3, 5 or 5 hour drive. We get lazy and don't do it. That's when one of us has a problem. But so you basically, this is the same stuff you use at your house. There's no guarantees, and sometimes you have to do it more than once, depending how strong the energy is. Sometimes people have to do it daily, and weekly, monthly. You do what seems to work. Like mediums or people that are sensitive has to do a lot more than just a regular person.
Right.
But if you do this in a house, some recommend opening up a window, a door, so this energy has a place to get out. Some say don't. Do this, drain the energy, make it weak, and at the very end, and open it up and let it out. But they say go to every corner of the room. If you're religious, you could say prayers, but also bark orders saying, hey, this is my house. I know you're here. You're not here to protect me or my family. You must leave now. It's very important. And it does work at times. Not all the time, but sometimes I had stuff in my house after investigation. All it took is to say, I know you're here, but you're not allowed to be here. You must leave now. And it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got this. You got white sage. This is a little stronger. This is sage, but they call it it's with dragon's blood. It has a little more. It seems to have a little more kick to it. So there's different things you could use. You use it the same way as sage. What I usually do, if it's something strong, I'll use the sage. Go around sage every room, all four corners, crawl spaces, basements, everything. And then I'll go around and do it with the Palo Santo holy wood, which is this. Kind of give it a good double kick.
Yeah.
And it tends to work really well. They also say sea salt in water is very good to use, especially if you're taking home used items. If you're going to, say, garage sales, you're collecting antiques, stuff like that can tend to hold energy. Now, at first I'm like, excuse the expression, that's full of shit, but yeah. I've seen it. I experienced it for myself, and that's what it takes me to start believing. So a lot of mediums recommend, even if you're going to a garage sale and you're going to buy a used item, have sea salt water with you, spritz the item before putting it in the car and bringing it home. And they say, they compare it to like if you're cooking with a Teflon pan, nothing sticks to it. So this will be like, the energy will slide right off.
Yeah.
So, and then we also, just in case, have blessed items.
Oh, wow.
From holy water, and I had all this stuff blessed. You got anointment oils, salt, all type of blessed metals, crosses. After a few things happened to me, I've always believed in God, but I was never really much of a churchgoer. But after a few things happened to me after investigating, I'm like, I better go back and get some help, just in case, because I've been attacked before on investigations.
Wow.
I didn't even know that was possible. You see stuff like that on TV, and I could show you a few photos whenever you're ready. And there's a house in Appleton, Wisconsin. I went to about 30-40 seconds. I'm standing there in front of the homeowners and team members, and something just rips me open, my face right in front of their eyes.
Good grief.
Yeah.
I guess, that'd make me want to buy all that stuff, too.
Yeah, just, last thing I want to do is bring something home. And I have a young daughter, 10-year-old daughter, my wife, and I don't want to take that chance and have something attached to me, follow me home, make my life miserable, make their lives miserable, especially if you believe in the demonic power.
Yeah.
Now, I keep my eyes open. There's a few cases I almost handled that I believe was possibly on the demonic side, but most of it's not like that. I think that's rare.
Do you avoid those, or?
No, I get input before taking them on. I want to be man enough to be able to document that and help out people. That's very important to me. But I also got to look on the other side that the priority of a demonic spirit, what their goal is to break it down and probably end up making you take your life or just destroy everything, everything negative, your marriage, you get hooked on drugs, whatever it takes to break it down and eventually kill you, I think is their goal.
So, it seems like you've seen a lot. You got the ambulance. How many investigations do you think you've done since 08?
Probably, well over 50. I'm sure it's 100 plus.
Oh, wow.
No, yeah. But I had to cut down on investigations. I used to take everything that came to me, but because I have to take off work, everything costs money, and I don't charge people for this. So, from buying batteries, burning a vacation day if it doesn't fall my day off, not just me, but my teammates. And then after an investigation, it takes me about 3 weeks to go through footage. As you can see, like here, this DVR system could hold up to 16 cameras. If I have this going about 10 hours, that's minute for minute, second for second. I got to go through, all the video. You turn the head away once, you could miss something. Same thing with audio. I could have maybe 10 voice recorders going that day. I got to listen minute for minute, second for second. All the handheld stuff. So if I, you got to go through everything. And then what I do before I post anything, if I think, hey, this could be paranormal, and I capture something here, now I got to compare it to every voice recorder, every other video recorder, and handheld stuff, just to make sure no one was around that possibly could have caused the voice, the image, or whatever. Sure. So it takes me a long time.
So you mentioned your team, your crew. How many people do you normally bring onto your investigations?
Usually maybe half dozen. Sometimes more if it's a bigger location. But once again, if you bring too many investigators, I have ones on standby that are more like part-time if a full-time can't make it due to work or a family obligation. But usually around 6. If you go in a location, usually maybe 2-3 maybe 2 investigators, a cameraman. Everyone else is in here until it's their turn. We'll switch off and see what tends to work. Sometimes spirits only want to communicate with a female investigator, or a combination of a male and female. And we'll switch teams and we'll see what works for the evening. And then we usually do, before we end the night, maybe a group with every team member and the clients if they want to be involved with maybe a group EVP session, especially if the clients have questions to ask. Yeah.
Now, do you do you say group EVP? I know the Ouija board is off the table. Do you do seances or anything like that? Or
I've been involved with a couple seances. I personally don't know how to do it, but people that I were with that night, they have done it before. But when I say group EVP session, it's mainly sitting down, team members and the clients if they want to be a part of it, and then using digital voice recorders and spirit boxes, asking questions and see if we could get any answers.
Now, so I guess this is a good way to move into evidence or proof that you have from any of these investigations. Do you have anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, I have some. I've been very lucky with full-bodied apparitions. I have a lot of audio and some video recordings, but you could go on forever with that. But if it's something quick, I'll start out with my best one. And usually, if I capture a photo or a video, I show it to all my team members. We decide if we want to take it to the next step, and I usually bring it to, for instance, if it's a picture, an instructor that teaches photography at a college, that knows in and out what to look for. So if I have any doubts, I do my best on trying to make sure that it's real before posting it. Yeah. Because I'm not a total expert when it comes to the video and photos, only through my experience, But so I try to bring it to experts if I have something so they can look over and, they say, hey, no, Dave, I could explain this, and then I'll just, throw it out. But if they're like, man, this is awesome. There's been times I had that they loved it. They're like, this is so awesome that could I have a copy of it, and I'll give you full credit for it. But I'll show you some of these now. All right, this is one of the photos where I got attacked. This is the one I was telling you about when I walked in the house. And it was about 30, 40 seconds. I'm standing right in front of the hallway. The kitchen's to my left, living room to my right, hallway with the bedrooms and bathrooms forward. And I start feeling pain, and right in front of their eyes, they're like, Dave, you're getting scratched. And if you could see here, it started out with a burning welt made my ear bleed, and then a deep scratch down my neck. Here's another photo. Can you see this here?
Yeah.
Happened right in front of their eyes. And I didn't even do anything. I just walked in. But whatever there felt I was a threat to it for some reason. Let me know if you need me to...
No, that's perfect.
Okay. And then this is my best full-bodied apparition. This is a location that's in Englewood. It's a city-owned building, but it's abandoned. And the reason the city still owns it is because they have fiber underground that this building used to dispatch fire trucks and stuff back in the day on the south side. But this is all night vision glare. There's a night vision camera. But if you could see this figure standing right there, I'm in the building alone.
Oh, wow. I thought that was just a person. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is my best. If you look closely, you can see how transparent. You can see the baseboard through the leg. And I'll show you a few other pictures of the same photo. But yeah, grown men from my age and older, they were scared to go in this building alone because of the unexplained footsteps, noises, and voices they heard. A lot of times they'd wait until another coworker went in there if they had to check out the fiber or for whatever reason they were in the building. And the last straw was one of the workers was at the urinal and he got shoved from behind and hit the wall. And they're like, okay, let's call Dave. So here's the same photo, but it's just playing with the coloring. And you can see it almost looks like it has work overalls of some type.
Yeah.
Maybe a hat.
It's got shoes on.
Yeah, you can see that. Maybe work boots, I don't know. But you can see that baseboard right through the leg. You can see how transparent it is. And like I said, this is all night glare. So what is very important with this, when you take photos, you got to take several photos in the same location because you need something to compare it to. Now, what is cool about this is I have one of these DVR night vision cameras in that room showing I'm the only one in that building, in that room, and in the building at that time. So this is very important for debunking reasons. Now, I could prove there was no one in that building, no one in that room, and I mean, what is this? How do you explain that? Right. And this is one of these pictures I had showed to professionals, and they had roundtable discussions on it. Here's the original photo, but I circled it. So this is exactly what I took. What I showed you was the zoom-in portion, but here he is standing right here. Wow. So he's only in one photo out of 10 in that direction. So what I recommend to other investigators, I'm going to repeat it, when you're taking pictures, you got to take not just one or two, you got to take multiple, and you got to know the surroundings on what's behind there, because sometimes with IR lighting you can get glares. If it's from a distance and it's blurry, you could be picking up objects that are in the background that you just can't tell until you see other photos. So it's very important to take multi-photos in every direction, so you have something to compare the photo to, when you get a possible apparition or something that could be paranormal. And it's key also, if you can, I know it's hard to have video in every room and stuff, but it's key to also have either a handheld recorder recording what you're doing to help prove that this is paranormal, or a DVR camera, one of the two, a handheld or DVR. But this is probably my best apparition photo. I'll show you one of a child we captured. And what is cool is I was able to capture, one of the complaints was they could hear footsteps running back and forth, and it almost sounded like a kid's footsteps. And so we were able to capture in the basement. It almost looks like it's glowing, but it's pitch dark in there. But we're using UV and IR lighting, which is called full spectrum lighting. And the theory is, in the spectrum of lighting, they believe the spirit world's in it. So, like I said, it's pitch dark, but I have illuminators on my cameras that I use for night vision and full spectrum. But as you can see, you can even see the hair.
Yeah,
you
just
see
looks like a kid in there.
Yeah, I don't know, some type of jacket, maybe with a hoodie. I'm not sure, but it's just standing there. And I believe this is one of the spirits causing the running, the footsteps. Let me see. I'll give you an example here when we're talking about Kinect cameras, SLS cameras. This is one that is pretty cool that... oh, shoot. Give me a second. Here's the lady. Once again, we have a regular night vision camera recording, and she's... here's the Kinect system here. And it's picking up an unexplained person, and she... we believe there's a little boy in this hallway. So she went to her knees, and she could feel her hair being touched. And I have video of that, but this is something that was unexplainable. You couldn't see with your own eyes. Even the night vision didn't pick it up, but the Kinect system picked it up. I'm not a huge orb believer, but there is times where it's unexplainable. Like, I'll give you an example here. Blue.
Yeah.
This is the Congress Theater, and I was able to capture great evidence out of here. But I have video of this, but it's just still shots. But it looks like a blue Easter egg, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you explain that? And to me, the belief in a light anomaly like this, it's got to have intelligent movement. There's so many times you could explain, do dust particles, bugs on the camera screen, where it's lit up by the IR light or camera light and makes it look like an orb. Okay, before I even say anything, do you see anything in the picture? This is full spectrum. It's pitch dark.
Yeah, in like the top left of that, right there. It looks like a face, like a butt, almost like a statue bust.
Yeah, this is what is cool about this is before I set up my equipment, we had a walkthrough with a medium, and she talked about a man that hung himself in this room. Back in the day where you had to go in front of the car to crank it to start it. And the story was he killed himself, hung himself in this room because they were coming to kill him. He had, I guess, some gambling debt he had to pay for. This guy would only communicate with me, and you can see how it looks like the hair is even parted. You can see the eye sockets, the face. I don't know if this is the rope or if he's wearing a bow tie. I'm not sure, but you can see his shoulders. But what is credible with this photo, I also got him to turn on my flashlight, push button flashlight, and he answered every question to what the medium said.
Wow.
He said he was a male, he hung himself in this room. It was amazing. It blew me away. That's the first time I ever had an interaction with a flashlight. I had a flashlight, voice recorder, and the EMF meter on the ground, and he would pressure the back, turn it on and off. It was unbelievable. Now I'm going to show you. Did you ever hear of the haunted cemetery? It's probably the most haunted cemetery in Illinois, called Bachelor's Grove. Mm-hmm. Well, I have some pretty good evidence out of there, but this is pretty cool. I caught a little figure, an unexplained figure that wasn't there. We couldn't see with our own eyes, but the full spectrum camera caught it. I'm going to show you one of the photos. This is why it's very important to take multi-photos. You see where I put the arrow, no figure? When I go to the other photos, look in this area, okay? So this way you know you're not accidentally capturing, someone like photo bombing you, walking in. It only showed up in one photo, so you see nothing there. Now, I'll show you a couple versions of the same photo. Crossing his arms. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's a Native American. It's darker skin, whatever it is. But wow. This is the original. So I'm like, hey man, what the hell is that? But yeah, it's oops.
Wow.
I'm gonna I'm not here to force his hand. So, do you see it?
Yeah, I do.
So, and once again, not only did I have several photos in that direction captured in one, I also had a video camera that I could go back to just to make sure before I posted it that no one snuck in there.
Yeah.
There was anyone walking by. So it's only 3 people, him, her, and her. Or, I don't know if that's a him or her, I can't remember. But, so I've been very lucky when it comes to apparitions. I'm going to show you my first 2 apparitions, and it's pretty cool, the story behind it. This one here, this is in a cemetery in the middle of the woods. I don't know if I can even find this again. It is in Portage, Wisconsin, right? A little before the Dells, Wisconsin Dells. And I met another team out there. We're doing a documentary. So it's pitch dark. I'm the only one here. The other investigators, some of them went to the nearest gas station to get water or cigarettes or whatever they were doing. And there was a few others in the other section of the cemetery. So I'm here alone. And the whole ground is filled with acorns. And I could actually hear the crunching of the ground. So before I took this photo, I scanned the area with a thermal imaging camera, which a thermal imaging camera, let me show you. Oh, I can't make it bigger now. I forgot I'm on playback. Do you see the screen here with the coloring? So if I picked up something live, I would have got a heat signature. Anything living would have displayed heat. So I'm thinking it's an animal, from a squirrel, a deer. Scanned the whole area and there was nothing there. So I set my thermal down, grabbed my full spectrum camera, took maybe 8 to 10 photos in this direction. Actually, I did a whole circle with 8 photos or 10 photos at a time. And I captured this figure walking away from I believe walking away from the grave. But can you see that there?
Yeah.
And I could hear it. That's why I thought it was an animal. And then a little bit later, I met with the group. And what is cool about this, you see this figure here?
Yeah.
It's none of us.
Wow.
So this is we're also hearing, I have video footage of this, we're also hearing noises like I did before, and movement in the brush. So we thought it was a deer or an animal again. I had my thermal scanning, he has the thermal scanning, because we thought we would get an image of a deer or some animal in the woods. Nothing. So the medium says, this is his name's Scotty. He goes, Dave, set your thermal down, grab your full spectrum camera. There's a male spirit that just came out of the brush. So that's what I did, and I started taking several photos in that direction, and then we caught this image here.
Wow. And
what is so cool and gives us credibility is I also captured a male voice answering his questions.
Wow.
So there you got multi things happening at the same time. You're hearing unexplained noises, you're capturing a male voice, and you got an unexplained figure in the picture. And once again, these photos I had sent away to professionals to go through and debunk them.
Yeah.
And
nothing.
No. So I got very lucky. I mean, apparitions are very hard to get, but for some reason, I've been
lucking out.
Yeah. And so that's when it comes to photos. That's basically it. I mean, I have a lot of video footage, audio footage that I could end up sharing with you. What is really cool, where I showed you where I got that unexplained figure with the Connect.
Yeah.
Well, that at that time, that was a brand new piece of equipment I just bought. And it was on a stand, maybe a little lower than this, on a tripod facing the hallway. And we just captured an image maybe a half hour ago. And, it was very exciting. So we went down, and I had a female come up with me because I wanted to see if I could get the little boy to talk to the female investigator. Well, I just was activating the Connect on my laptop. We're in the room. And you see 2 light anomalies. One came from 2 rooms to the back, came out, hugged the ground, and went into the room we were in. There's another one that popped up, and he's just so intelligent, popped up and went directly at us in the room. Wow. Seconds later, my tripod gets knocked, with force, and we caught it on camera. And it just cartwheels. It was flung so hard that it did cartwheels and hit the wall across the hallway. And then I'm like, what the hell was that? Go running out, I see it all on the floor. I'm like, oh no, it's broken. I just got it. And it was really cool. I think he got mad at us because we captured it on film with the Kinect. I think he got mad. But then again, right before it happened, we got the line anomalies coming into the room with intelligent movement. Seconds later, tripod flying and the Kinect flying. And then right after that, we got unexplained voices.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was cool.
So, Dave, is there any investigations that made you want to quit doing ghost investigations?
To be honest, there's two that come to mind. And this first one, I almost gave it up totally. I didn't feel right for a couple days after this phone call. And it turned out after construction, this client started having problems. They redid the house, gave it a whole makeover, and it stirred up something where people would come visit, would leave right away, wouldn't stay the night if it's relatives that's coming to visit, or leave the next day. Daughter wanted to sleep in her room. The husband started having night terrors. Who's legit? He's actually a fireman, and really wanted nothing to do with us because I understand, he's afraid it's going to get out. That's why I can't say who he is or where he works or whatever. But it's such a good story. Actually, a scary story, which really scared me. But anyway, he started having night terrors, and he went to sleep studies, saw doctors. They couldn't find anything wrong with him. Never has the night terrors at the firehouse, only at the house. So she started recording his night terrors. Maybe he had 5 recordings, and he's screaming bloody murder. It's actually terrifying listening to it. And I started listening to it driving home, and she's playing it. She has it on her cell phone, so she's playing it over her home phone. So I can hear him screaming bloody murder and all this and that. It sounds like he's being attacked. Actually, it sounds like he's being raped. And she goes, listen closely. I could hear a female moaning his name on the recordings. I could hear something, but because it's over the phone, it's hard to tell. So I pull in my driveway. It's pitch dark. It's about 11:30 at night, and I made sure, just thinking about it, I get worked up, because this scared the crap out of me. And I remember I stayed outside because I don't want to wake up my wife and daughter. Plus, I wanted a clear signal on my cell phone. I don't want to drop a signal. And so we're standing there, and she goes, did you hear the voice? And I told her, I heard something, but I couldn't tell what it was. And as we're talking, and she's starting to talk about where she lived, and maybe me setting up a date to go over there and do a walkthrough, this voice, I didn't even know this was possible. This voice comes through the phone lines. Now, all I could describe it is the voice of The Exorcist. That type of voice. And it's coming through. But at first I thought it was her, and I'm getting mad. I'm like, you think this is funny, playing a joke on me, wasting my time like this? She goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't hear this voice coming through. She goes, no, I hear your phone going in and out. And I'll never forget this damn laugh. This demonic sounding laugh. And now it's talking over her. So I know it's not her doing it anymore. And now it's moaning her husband's name. And I'm not going to say his name over the air. But then it starts moaning my name. David. In that type of voice. And I'm in shock. I'm not even moving. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then I just get the phone cuts off. And I'm standing there in the darkness in shock. And now it feels like 2 fingers choking me. My car's right to my right, and I could feel the pressure, and I was cutting off my windpipe. And I didn't know what to do. The only thing I think of is I reached in and I had a cross over my rearview mirror, and I grabbed the cross and put it on. And thank God the feeling went away. And then I get a call back maybe about a minute later, and it's her. She goes, my whole phone's broken. I can't use it anymore. I don't get a dial tone. She called me from her cell phone. And for about a half hour, I'm trying to get her address, or we're trying to set up something, and his voice cuts us off. Every other word. And that damn laugh, man. I had nightmares of it. Jeez. But, so I never got her address. I never got to go over there. And I still wonder, what if I went there? What would have happened? And this is one of the cases that opened my eyes where I needed to start protecting myself. And, with the help of mediums and stuff, I was able to purchase items, do things to help protect myself. But I tell you, I didn't feel right for about 2 or 3 days. I felt like something evil was lurking, almost like attached, warning me that if I take this case, I'm done with it. It's going after me or my family. And, I didn't even know it was possible that things could come through the lines like that. You see stuff on TV or, documentaries, but, I at times I could be skeptical and it's full of shit. No way it can happen.
Right.
Until, I open my eyes, and until things happen to me, that's when I become a believer. So I never handled the case. I know it scared her, scared the crap out of me. I'm hoping, though, I would have loved to have been able to document that.
Yeah.
And, if she needed help, I would have liked to have been able to help her. But I still wonder.
Yeah.
But that one, that was my worst case. And there was another one that was, someone just moved in. It was right near Bachelor's Grove, near that cemetery where I captured the full-bodied apparition. It was all new housing there, but they were having problems. And so after I spoke to the client, I said, let me talk to my team members, see if they're interested, and see if we can set up a date to go over there. And that night I'm laying in my room, and I see a dark shadow to the right foot of my bed, darker than dark, huge. And I never told my wife this. And it was, for 2 days it showed itself. I don't know what it was at first, but I could see it, I could feel it, and it didn't feel right. So after the second day, I called one of the mediums that I use, Susan Rowland, and I asked her, and before I even said anything about anything, all I said is, I'm wondering if I should take a case. Can I tell you something about it? And she's like, you've already been warned. You've been something showed itself to you already. And I'm like, yes, it did. And how the hell does she know this? She started describing all this stuff, and she says, Dave, this case is not worth it. Don't do it. It's going to cause nothing but negative to you and your family. And I believe this because what I felt and what I saw, it felt bad. I can't say 100% sure if it was demonic or not, but it felt evil. I never had that feeling before, other than that voice, that hideous voice. But she described it as, she goes, Dave, I see it. She described it as a figure, like a man-sized figure that drops to 4 legs, and she called it a jackal. She said it comes from, she didn't even know about Bachelor's Grove. She goes, it comes from a cemetery that's right across the woods, in back of the woods where you're going. She had no idea about anything like that. She said it comes from that cemetery, and she goes, that's what visited you that night. And she goes, Dave, she said, don't do it, it's not worth it. So I never backed down on a case before, so I talked to my team members. I'm like, this is what I'm told. What do you think we should do? I said, not just me, but you got families too. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me talk to another medium, see what she picks up. And they don't even know each other. They live in other states. And so I talked to her. She said almost exactly the same thing as this other medium said. And there's no way she would know. And she's telling me not to do it. She's also describing the inside of the house and where how the thing goes into the client's house and describe the bedroom. And there's no way she could know this stuff because I've never even been there. I don't even know it.
Yeah.
And so she wants me not to take the case. But then so I told the client, I had a heart-to-heart talk with the client and, told her everything that's going on and what I was told. And the team members, and we were going to pass on this case, but then maybe 2 days before the investigation we were supposed to have, the medium calls me up and says, Dave, whatever was there is gone. I don't sense it. I don't feel it anymore. You're safe to take the case. So I took the case, and everything was fine.
Jesus.
No, we captured evidence, but not like that.
Yeah,
not
no jackals.
Yeah, no jackals. Yeah, but it's weird because I don't know if I even believe in that stuff. And like I said, for me to truly believe, I have to go through it myself.
Yeah.
Now I know I don't. I can't say 100% sure that there's the devil or demonic. I'm leaning towards there's something evil, something bad, possibly demonic out there, but I can't say 100% sure.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for your time. And
Thank you.
Doing this interview. Is there a way for if anyone wants to reach out to you or check out more things that you're posting or anything?
Sure. ChicagoParanormal.com is our website. You can find us on Facebook also, Chicago Paranormal Investigators, and also on Instagram, same thing, Chicago Paranormal Investigators. And you could contact through the website or Facebook, just message us, either way, and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
Great. Cool. Well, thanks for watching Questioning the Weird, and you guys have a great night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.